A prisoner inside the Fort Dix facility has just let slip something he probably should have kept quiet. Video clips of Diddy behind bars, along with reports that he is being singled out, are spreading fast online. Ever since 50 Cent's Netflix documentary aired, new proof and witness statements linking Diddy to earlier crimes have started to surface. In this video, we're going to break down what has really been happening to Diddy inside prison and take a deep dive into a brand new criminal probe that kicked off last week.
Is just a working class stiff while he's at Fort Dix.
So when you're at a prison and somebody says, you read any good books lately? Diddy is the answer.
He's the guy to go to because we got video of him at Fort Dix reporting for work in the library where he is making recommendations and handing out different movies and books for his fellow inmates.
I'm really fascinated just by the library
But
itself.
you're seeing him here. This is him reporting to work, taking off his jacket, taking off his scarf, and settling in for a day on the job.
It looks like a public school library.
Yeah.
It's
This was the chapel, and this is the media library in the chapel, which is where Diddy's currently working. He's working in a Life Connections program, which is an 18-month program that helps rehab people, get them closer to spirituality, to charity groups, and with that, it will shorten his sentence. But in this media library, he helps inmates with religious material, rent out movies, that kind of stuff. You see him pushing a
really
cart
interesting
with a TV on it.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the laundry room when he first got there.
Yeah,
this got to be
his first
This
assignment.
got to be a promotion.
Yeah.
It feels like a promotion. It feels like maybe he tried the lunchroom and put in a request for something different.
Yeah, it does believe it does sound like he used maybe possibly some connections to get a better job.
What you're seeing here is only one small piece of a much darker story. Even though Diddy may appear relaxed, laughing and posing with people around him, the truth is he's terrified. Over the past year, Diddy has been attacked more than 3 separate times and came close to losing his life. Whether he's locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York or at Fort Dix in New Jersey, there is always a target on him.
Claiming that his throat was nearly in prison. According to Diddy, he was asleep in his cell and he woke up to a man standing over him with a shank at his throat. It's important to understand that this incident was not an attempted murder. If this person wanted to kill Diddy, he never even would have seen it coming until he was bleeding out of his throat. This was a warning, and this was a mark of things to come for Diddy. First off, Diddy is down on a bad charge, and it doesn't matter that it's not like a child charge, it's still a sex charge, and people in prison, they don't like that. Even though it's a prostitution charge and the that he had transported across state lines were men, it's still a sex beef. That honestly is going to seem even weirder to dudes in there. Also have to keep in mind that Diddy has a lot of money, and they're going to want that money, and they're going to get that money out of him, whether he wants them to or not. Also have to keep in mind that Diddy is famous, so if you were the dude who beat up, stabbed, or clapped Diddy's cheeks, that gives you a certain amount of clout in prison.
Someone out there is clearly trying to send Diddy a warning. The goal is to keep him quiet and make sure he doesn't start naming names. To understand why, you have to look back at what Diddy was first charged with. When he was arrested in September, federal prosecutors accused him of RICO crimes. What stood out was that no one else was charged, even though it was obvious he didn't act alone. Those same partners are now believed to be intimidating him, so he keeps his mouth shut.
Mark, Diddy is going to spend definitely 2+ years in a federal prison. I just want to lay this out right now. He is a target because they talked about this in court. They said somebody tried to shank him already, and that he is a big target. Are you concerned that Sean Diddy Combs could be sexually assaulted, violently assaulted? Is that a thing? Because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing.
Yeah, it clearly is a thing. I mean, they're already, and he did not want to make a big deal of it. They already tried to shank him once at the MDC, and that was thwarted.
Diddy never thought he would actually end up locked up. He assumed that even if he was convicted, his powerful connections would get him out. This wasn't some small-time celebrity. Diddy had ties to major figures like Bill Clinton, Obama, Trump, and even members of the British royal family.
Now look, it's this Diddy thing. Look what he's saying now. Diddy been running around Fort Dix, bragging about Trump's supposed to be pardoning him early next year. This is what he's telling the inmates. But I'm going to tell you why he's telling them that. And I don't like it. See, Diddy think he's slick. See, Diddy know they on his ass. And he trying to figure out between washing clothes and all this other shit, trying to figure out how he can stay cool and stay protected.
This situation didn't begin once Diddy arrived at Fort Dix. Other inmates have said that even while he was at MDC during his trial, Diddy was constantly dropping President Trump's name. That raises a big question. Why would a convicted man be talking about a sitting U.S. president as if he could save him?
You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Well, not anymore. After more than a year in prison, Diddy has asked the White House for a pardon, and Donald Trump is shutting him down.
I have a lot of people who have asked me for pardons. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years.
Yeah, that's according to the president himself, who spoke to the New York Times on Wednesday, explaining the request came in a letter. Details of the alleged letter haven't been divulged, but Trump did say he's not planning to commute the mogul sentence. He didn't say why, but it's a move the president has been thinking about for months. Here's what he told reporters during Diddy's marathon trial in May.
He used to really like me a lot. I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact.
News of the rejected pardon coming about a month after Diddy's legal team filed to appeal his sentence and conviction.
The only reason Trump didn't step in to pardon Diddy was because of 50C, and 50 Cent keeps coming up throughout this entire story. Every time Diddy thought he was going to escape punishment, 50 Cent was right there blocking it. When news broke that Diddy was trying to use his link to President Trump to get a pardon, 50 took immediate action.
50 Cent don't give a damn. He don't give a damn. He literally is saying he's going to reach out to Trump to remind Trump of the things that P. Diddy has said about him for the sole express purposes of making sure that Trump doesn't pardon Diddy in the event that Diddy gets convicted of sex trafficking and racketeering. That's what 50 Cent is sworn to do. And I got to admit to you, that's wild. Damn, you know you got an enemy there when that man want to go out of his way to contact the president, you know, and clearly he has some kind of inroads where he can get to President Trump so President Trump can hear him. He's basically saying, yo, brother need to go down.
The same pattern showed up when prison footage of Diddy went viral. 50 reacted right away and shared his thoughts on Instagram. Doesn't it seem strange how hard 50 Cent is going after Diddy? He even put some of his most profitable business projects on pause so he could personally reach out to victims and bring them into his documentary. That's not something a random internet troll would do. 50 is making sure Diddy's trial stays in the spotlight so nothing shady can happen behind the scenes.
Biggest troll in the rap game, man. It's Diddy's birthday, November 4th.
Oh, yeah, man.
Today.
Yeah.
It's his birthday.
Yes.
And he happens to put up a post of him, and, you know, there were some pictures released of Diddy on the yard with a couple other prisoners. Mm-hmm. Crazy to see prisoners, right? Yeah.
You know, he had Bad Boy East, Bad Boy West, that's Bad Boy Prisons.
Yeah. But he put up a picture of those pictures, and he said he looked too happy to me with all them handsome men around. Good morning, New York City.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Dude, how does 50 get away with this?
I don't know.
Because we were talking about, man, 50 don't lose any brand deals. He don't lose any endorsements. He can walk in and sell TV shows.
Oh, yes.
You know, he can be in the boardroom and also be petty as hell, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Even when he sat down with us, he kind of explained a little bit about him and Diddy and the beef.
I haven't had issues with Puffy. I don't like him like that. Like, I don't like things that he would do.
Right.
And make me uncomfortable.
So we're speaking on Diddy. We're speaking on Puff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't have that thing where, we ain't had no thing. I wasn't sending nothing at him, big. If it was on the street side like that, we would be actively doing things to each other.
I still don't understand.
And we wasn't doing that.
I was still trying to figure out, you do a lot.
Yeah, he does a lot.
You do a lot.
And the uncomfortable part was when he was talking to the Breakfast Club. And he was mentioning how Diddy wanted to take him shopping.
He said something fabulous, and he goes, but me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party. What is he talking about? That's the kind of stuff. When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like, he said something to me one time, a long time ago. At Chris Knighty's wedding, he told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of no, dude, you take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Hey, dude, that sounds like something Mariana would say.
Yeah,
That's
for
a
sure.
nice gesture. Like, no, you don't.
Great.
Thanks to 50's attention and the proof he shared in his film, victims are finally starting to see some form of justice. Diddy has tried everything to get 50 to step back. There are even claims that Diddy sent him a warning just one day after the Sean Combs documentary came out. 50 received a bouquet of flowers from Diddy and later posted about it on Instagram, saying he knew exactly what Diddy was trying to say without using words.
Diddler has sent 50 Cent some damn flowers while he locked up, bro. All right, we all know Diddy is mad about this whole docu-series that 50 put out on Netflix and is #1 going crazy, so you know he mad. Now, according to 50, all right, these are some warning flowers. Y'all know how Diddy used to get down. You know, he used to send people in the mail. He'll send a nigga blow up a car. Y'all know how he get down. So if he mad, clearly he's mad about this documentary. Bro sent 50 some flowers at his hotel while he was in Miami, bro. Now I ain't gonna show the address on these flowers, but 50 posted the whole address. Now in the caption, 50 said, "What kind of gay shit is this? Diddy send me flowers at Club 11, LOL. LOL, why all the foreplay? Get busy, you know I'm stupid." Then he commented again and said, "A warning, I'm 90s grimy. You don't warn me, LOL." So y'all know why Diddy sent this. He ain't send it because he happy or proud of 50 for dropping this goddamn docuseries on his demon ass, bro.
Back to what's happening inside prison. Court papers say Diddy was only saved because a corrections officer stepped in during an attack. Reports claim Diddy woke up with a knife pressed to his throat and would have been hurt if an officer hadn't arrived in time. Since then, reports from inside the facility suggest that Diddy has been arranging protection from other inmates to help keep himself safe.
He had something very scary happen to him. One of his close friends is speaking out and saying that while he was sleeping at the MDC Brooklyn jail, somebody came and put a knife, pressed it to his throat. Now, as I keep digging into the story, they're saying, yes, a correctional officer or a police officer was the one who came and basically helped him out and quote unquote saved him. Yes. And so, you know, obviously Diddy's lawyers are trying to use this as a way to just get him even moved to a different location. But right now, everything is kind of staying as is.
Yeah, his safety being an issue when he's supposed to be, you know, I think in some sort of protected environment. You know, remember MDC, isn't that where the Epstein situation happened?
The lawyers, when they were speaking on Diddy being in prison and the circumstances him being in prison, I didn't never hear about this and nobody ever said anything about this. And I want to know if it's in the prison records. They said one of the guards stopped a dude from shanking Diddy. Now, I'm like, if he was doing all this positive shit in jail and they was talking about he was, all the inmates loved him and they was employing him and doing standing ovation. I wonder what inmate was trying to shake him. Was that one of the Tupac? Was that one of the Tupac fans? Or that was one of Biggie fans? Because they said that the guard, they said that in court, one of the lawyers, one of the guards stopped one of the individuals that was trying to shank him, bruh. And that was crazy. Nobody, that didn't leak. Everything leaks from prison, but that didn't leak. Nobody wrote home and said, yo, dudes is in here trying to stab Diddy up. But the lawyers mentioned that today. I want to see if they're going to investigate that right there. You know what I'm saying? And base that, or he probably used that, base that on trying to help Diddy getting into one of those camps or one of those programs.
Gene Deal, who previously worked as Diddy's bodyguard and later became a corrections officer, recently shared his perspective on how high-profile inmates often struggle behind bars. Gene explained that prison life puts intense mental and emotional pressure on people, especially those who have never experienced that kind of environment before. According to Gene, Diddy may not be mentally prepared for the reality of prison, and the stress of being locked away could become overwhelming. He also pointed out that Diddy built his tough image in the entertainment world, not in real-life street situations, which makes adjusting to prison even harder.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you knowing Diddy personally, do you think it's possible he might take his life?
It takes a certain individual to prepare himself to do a lot of years in jail. From the lifestyle that he had, I'm not saying that he can't. I just don't see him able to do time behind bars. Maybe if he be in a camp type situation, that's a possibility. But based on the lifestyle and what he's done and what he's accomplished, if he had to go behind those bars for a lot of years, I think that he may commit suicide. He'd do an Epstein.
Inside prison, Diddy is surrounded by people who have strong opinions about those accused of violence toward women. Former organized crime figures, Michael Franzese and Sammy the Bull Gravano, have publicly stated that, in their experience, such accusations are taken very seriously in criminal circles. They have said that behavior involving abuse would never be respected, which could help explain why Diddy is facing hostility while incarcerated.
Guys in the mob did some terrible, terrible things. The murders were gruesome and violent and painful, and they served a purpose. They were meant to terrify people into staying in line, right? Compare that to the things that you've heard alleged from the witness stand and testimony under oath from a lot of these young women and some of the young men who were his assistants. Compare the guys in the mob to the stuff you're hearing alleged against Diddy.
If we did that in the mob, we would be for it. We would never touch women and children and stuff like that. So that's against our rules, our principles. We would never get away with something like that. There was a guy, Roy DeMeo and Gas Pipe, who became serial killer for no reason, and they were. So, I mean, if he was in the mafia, he would, and we knew what he was doing, he would have been, there would be no trial.
The longer Diddy remains behind bars, the more complicated his situation becomes. On the 19th of December, his legal team officially filed an appeal. They are requesting that his 50-month sentence either be reduced or dismissed. Their argument is based on the fact that the jury did not find him guilty on several of the most serious charges, and they believe the sentence does not reflect that outcome.
Coverage, Sean Diddy Combs seeking an immediate release from prison. This week, his attorneys urging a federal appeals court in New York to reverse his conviction on prostitution-related charges or direct the judge to lighten his 4-year sentence. The National News Desk, Jeff Harris, joining us. Diddy's lawyers, Jeff, officially filing that appeal this week. Tell us more about their argument and also the chances it succeeds. What are you hearing?
So Diddy is currently serving that 50-month prison sentence after being found guilty on those related charges over the summer. In their appeal filing, his lawyers now arguing the music mogul was treated harshly during sentencing by a federal judge who let evidence surrounding charges that he was actually found not guilty of actually then influence his punishment.
If Diddy is able to get through the next 12 months and successfully defend himself against the new cases that have been filed, there is a possibility that he could be released.
Well, Trump recently announced that he's not going to be pardoning Diddy.
I seen that.
Yeah. Are you surprised?
Yes.
Me too.
I thought he would have pardoned Diddy.
Yeah, because they used to be homies back in the day.
I think maybe Diddy didn't do what he was supposed to do.
What was that?
You know how that go, man. You know, hey, listen, the Chevy in the parking lot, the truck is open. You know, them pardons ain't just happening to happen. This a fact. Not those type of pardons. But if Diddy does right, and if he's in the drug program, he'll be home later this year anyway.
This year?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think so. He's not coming home this year.
You want to do the math?
Let's do the math.
Okay, let's do the math. 50 months, right? He got 50 months.
Right. About 12 months time served?
Hold on. He got 12 months time. do they take the 15 from the top?
Yeah.
Okay, so minus is 15%. That leaves 42 and a half months. Minus, he had,
About
was
12.
it 12 months time served? 12.
So that's 30.
That's 30. Minus another 12 months for the drug program. That's why he went there. You do the drug program. They
18 months.
12 months off. 18 months minus 6 months for the halfway house. 12 and a half months. He got sentenced when? In October? Was it October?
I think that's too soon, but yeah.
All
right, listen, if
I'm
you're right,
doing all the deductions.
listen, I'll be happy if
You
Diddy's
do know
free.
that's why he wanted the drug program.
Right, to get a reduction.
You
I get
get
it.
12 months off, and then they send you to the halfway house 6 months early. So that leaves him with 12 months.
Meanwhile, his financial situation is also changing. A New York Times investigator recently reported that Diddy is in the process of selling his private jet. This is the same aircraft he once proudly showed off in his videos, but now it appears he needs the money. Sources claim he can no longer maintain the $30 million jet and is trying to free up cash.
Mia, you got the final sale price. It says it was not disclosed on the paper, but you got new information.
Well, listen, it runs from between 20 million to 30 million. Of course, they did not tell us what the final sale was. And it's also anonymous. We don't know who bought it.
Listen, I'm not mad at that person. Whoever that is.
Keep it anonymous.
Keep it anonymous. Like,
Right.
Listen, when I'm at the dispensary, I check out anonymously. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want y'all to know what I'm getting in the bag. So same thing applies here. If you're buying Diddy's PJ, you might want to keep that on the low.
Keep that on the low.
You know
Like
what
you
I'm
said,
saying?
you probably get a paint job after that.
You feel me?
Cover that up.
Just put primer over the Bad Boy logo. Like, yo, we gonna cover this up real quick.
Can you imagine what that pre-purchase inspection was like?
Yo,
man.
yo, we was talking about this off
Check
mic.
all the cracks and crevices.
Big room raiders energy.
Pause.
We're going in there with the black.
Yo, you gotta get the black light.
Black light.
They don't even want to check the engine. We don't care about the engine.
We don't care about none of that.
Check the carpets. Check
That's
the chairs.
Rip out. We gotta reupholster this whole joint.
Everything.
Now, this was actually sold due to legal pressure. So maybe he's using these funds to, pay the lawyers,
Pay lawyers. Yeah,
pay the
listen.
staff, because I know the staff was also waiting for some money while he is incarcerated.
Right. That's what happens when the boss goes down. You know what I'm saying? Them checks slow up.
That money may be needed for legal defense. The LA County Sheriff's Department has confirmed that a new criminal investigation involving Diddy has been opened. TMZ was the first outlet to report on it. This case also includes Jonathan Hay, who previously worked as Rihanna's publicist, as well as Biggie Smalls' son, CJ Wallace. According to reports, Jonathan Hay claims he was assaulted after being invited to work on music.
Sean Combs now facing new assault allegations, this time from a man in Florida. According to ABC News, investigators in LA received a report from a police department in Florida where the alleged victim lives, and now they are working on the case. Eyewitness News anchor Mike Marza in the newsroom with the very latest details. Mike.
Well, David, here's what we know. The new allegations of assault against Sean Diddy Combs come from a music producer who went to police in Florida, but the alleged crimes happened in Los Angeles. Jonathan Hay is his name. That's the person who filed the complaint, and he's one of the John Does that filed a civil lawsuit against Combs in July. The first alleged incident was in September of 2020 in LA. Hay alleging that Combs performed sex acts in front of him and asked for oral sex. In a second incident, in 2021, Hay claims that CJ Wallace, the son of the rapper Notorious B.I.G., took him to a location where two men put something over his head, he says, before Combs forced himself on Hay several times. Combs is currently serving out a sentence in Fort Dix, New Jersey, following his conviction earlier this year on two related charges. Combs' representatives have not yet responded.
At the same time, 50 Cent's documentary has brought renewed attention to past cases involving Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls. The project presented new testimony and documents that some believe raise questions about what really happened, and these materials have fueled fresh public discussion.
I think my favorite thing about 50 Cent's Netflix Diddy documentary is how he built a timeline off of this information. And one of my favorite parts of this documentary is them really really getting into the timeline of events when it comes to Tupac and Biggie. And it really gives us a lot of perspective from people that were close to the situation. And a lot of people allege in this documentary that they believe that Diddy was very jealous of Tupac. And they pretty much go through everything from the quad incident and Tupac believing that Puffy was behind it, like he said in the Vibe interview. And they lay out this whole timeline of the downfall happening perfectly, in my opinion. We are even hearing from Greg Kading, the detective that worked on Tupac and Biggie's case in this documentary. He is the investigator that did that proper agreement with Keefe D way back in 2008, where Keefe D alleged that Diddy tried to offer him $1 million to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. And Tupac's trial with Keefe D is coming up very soon in early 2026. And we know that Diddy's name has been dropped at least 200 times during these proceedings already. So this is one case that I am definitely waiting for and I am going to cover. In Keefe D's 2008 proper agreement, he alleged that Diddy's friend Zip Martin is the one that gave him the weapon that was used to take out Tupac. And Keefe D told the investigator Greg Kading that Zip Martin had a special compartment to keep this weapon in his car that he drove to Las Vegas. And in this documentary, we have Greg Kading confirming that Zip Martin did drive the same type of vehicle that Keefe D alleged to Las Vegas this night. And then during this documentary, we heard from the former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burroughs, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind taking out Tupac.
Tupac Shakur's family has now launched its own investigation and hired attorney Alex Spiro. Tupac's brother, Mopreme Shakur, has also spoken out, saying that he has long had doubts about the circumstance. As these investigations continue to grow, the pressure around Diddy is increasing, and many of the people he once relied on seem to be stepping back. And if you think this story ends here, think again. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay connected, because the next update could change everything. If you want real, uncensored stories before anyone else, make sure you subscribe to Haley Reporter. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because the next reveal could change everything.